We'll focus on the first and second readings today. The first reading from the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verses 4 to 8. And then the second reading from Paul's letter to the Ephesians, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 30 through chapter 5, verse 2. Particularly as St. Paul says toward the end of this excerpt, be imitators of God, live in love, as Christ handed himself over for us as a sacrificial offering to God. I want to suggest that Jesus perpetuates that sacrificial offering through a way you may not have thought of. It's certainly appropriate and meaningful, particularly in tying with the gospel of Jesus as the bread of life, that typically I think we understand this idea of Jesus perpetuating his sacrificial giving of himself through the Mass, and particularly through the Eucharist. But I want to suggest a different way, which is us then imitating Jesus, offering ourselves sacrificially, and in a way that ties into the first reading we just heard, Elijah there in the desert, and God takes care of his physical need for food. We're given the impression that it's angelic intervention and miraculous intervention, that this jug of water and hearth cake just materialized there for Elijah to eat. But as we just heard, the angel, so here it is, a spiritual and mystical and miraculous encounter with an angel, speaking on behalf of God, saying, get up and eat, else the journey will be too long for you. So it's this very providential miracle of God, but it has to do with something very physical and material, of him needing enough food to continue this long journey through the desert. So I want to suggest to us that we see God's caring for our spiritual needs and our physical needs, our material, physical, and the like. And that one way that Jesus does that in caring for us as a family of faith of St. Elizabeth of Hungary, and then if you're visiting your home parish, God is concerned about the material and the physical and the financial dimensions of our life together. We know the cliche of keeping the lights on and the air conditioning and all those kinds of things, that Jesus continues his sacrificial offering for our material needs through your contributing to the offertory for the parish. And then if you so choose, also contributing to the special funds, such as the maintenance fund, or now we have two funds, one specifically for Simple Supper and one more generally for caring for the needy and for the hungry. There's also the pastor's discretion fund. So all those different ways that you, as parishioners, and then if you're a visitor, that you support your own home parish, and if you would care to do so out of courtesy, that you don't feel no obligation to contribute to us, I want to have you see that as a spiritual activity. That your contribution to the financial needs of the parish, that's Jesus continuing his sacrificial giving of himself, so that we can have both spiritual nourishment and then all the material needs of the parish. So I mean, to state the obvious, right? You all know my salary comes out of your offertory, and also Mary Nisbet, and then things like paying for the paper that then becomes the bulletin. It's like, just go down the line of all those things. Instead of just thinking them as that's just like the overhead, see it as that's God providing for the spiritual and material well-being of the parish, and then by extension through us for others, such as our giving food to the food pantry of Immaculate Heart, of me having the pastor's discretion fund, so that when people come, as they do occasionally, to the parish or call and say they need help financially, that I had the freedom to help them out of the pastor's discretion fund, for instance. So that's simply what I want to offer to you to think about and reflect on, is see a spiritual dimension to your contribution to the parish, and not just this practical thing. And after some consultation with a few parishioners, I do want to tell you one thing that you may not know this. When it comes to your offertory, as the pastor, I don't keep track of how much any given person or household contributes. All right? Partly because even with the best of intentions, and I'm pretty sure this is archdiocese policy. So, for instance, at a prior parish, the parish database was set up that the pastors log in to the parish database. The pastor was locked out of the financial giving tab of people's entries, okay? And the idea is, even with the best of intentions, that the pastor not be influenced, subconsciously, unintentionally, by how much money people contribute. Because, somebody who contributes $15 a week when they really can only afford 10, but they stretch for the extra 5 a week, I think it's okay to say, in some ways, that's a more significant act than somebody who gives $3,000 a week, but could easily give $6,000. Let's say, just to be extravagant, right? So someone or a household that's pushing past what might seem they can afford, that's Christ's sacrificial offering. And so I'm sure you don't either. You don't want me being influenced and slip into the danger, I don't think I would, but the danger of favoritism or whatever else to parishioners who just are able to contribute more than someone who's contributing less. So just in case you never thought about that, keep in mind that I, generally speaking, don't keep track of how much people are contributing. I certainly thank those of you, I thank everybody who contributes, obviously, and thank those of you who are stretching, whether it's a $5 stretch and you're giving 15 when you should only give 10, really, or it's a $3,000 stretch, whatever it might be. But all of you who contribute, certainly I thank you. We should mutually be thankful to one another, and then we know that the people who benefit from the services of the parish are also thankful. I will say there is one household that I know how much it contributes, and that's the Brotherhood of the People of Praise, my household. So I think you all know this, but if you don't, here's some news or a reminder. The Brotherhood, as a religious community, our income isn't common. So in fact, just to get really into the weeds, the check, it's electronic deposit, but my salary doesn't come to my name. It goes to the Brotherhood of the People of Praise and goes right into the Brotherhood checking account. And that's true for everybody. Bishop Peter, for instance, right? The Archdiocese of Portland pays him to be our auxiliary bishop, but it goes right into the Brotherhood checking account. And just so you know, we do contribute to the parish, a percentage of that. So I offer that to you all as something to ponder and pray about, to see a true, authentic spiritual dimension of your participating in the life of the parish through the offertory, is that it's Jesus perpetuating the sacrificial offering that St. Paul speaks of here in Ephesians for the spiritual and material financial well-being of the parish. And it echoes Jesus and the Father and the Holy Spirit caring for Elijah for his food that he needed for the journey, that our journey of faith, our journey as a family of faith of St. Elizabeth of Hungary, God is with us, and he's using all of you as a way to help us mutually continue this spiritual journey of following Christ under the patronage of St. Elizabeth of Hungary.